Allow yourself to synchronize with what you are seeing. Allow everything to come into focus. Tell me what you see or experience.
It's like I am a woman with like a very elongated skull. I recognize these beings as the Sirians. And it's like I'm wearing some sort of a hat or a headpiece that looks like a big sort of hat that, like Nefertiti would have worn. That's over my elongated skull. And I don't have any hair on my head. We don't have any hair on our heads. And it's like I am in the water. This big sort of temple or sort of structure. And with my arms outstretched. And yeah, I'm very feminine.
And as you look around, what do you see?
The water is in the middle of like this pyramidal sort of structure, like a pyramid type of structure. And I am in the middle of this water. And it's like I am activating this vortex that runs through my body, and it like an energetic vortex that comes up and like intersects with the point of the pyramid. And I outstretch my arms, and it is like there are priests beside me as well in In the pool, there are priests standing there, and I am in the pool of water, connecting with the vortex of creation energy that flows through my body. It's some kind of a type of an energetic ritual that goes on, something that I feel like my energies are very needed for this particular thing to occur, for this particular moment. These goddess energies are needed in this pool, connecting up like the Elohim soul energies are needed in this instance. So that is why I am here in particular.
And will you go ahead and activate it?
Yes, I have activated it through the voice, through singing and raising the arms upwards and being in a state of ecstasy in this water. It feels almost like orgasmic. And through connecting in with that, the vortex is able to be created, which aligns with the point on the top of the pyramid in this structure.
What happens next?
Like I come out of the water and up these stairs. I am given like a robe to cover myself with by these priests. They're like priests or the equivalent of that. They assist with the energies. They stand on the corners to anchor in the male energies, and I stand in the center to anchor in the feminine energies.
What's the purpose of anchoring them? What's the purpose of anchoring the energies?
The universe has more connections than a brain. It is like a supercluster of energies, and there are certain points in these energies that are like focal points. And this is how we create and influence the universe through these points of energies. Our understanding of the grid, the universal structure, this supercluster of galaxies. And it is like a brain. The universe is so many different cells. The structure of our bodies reflects the cosmos.
Wonderful, thank you. What's the name that they call you?
It's more of a vibration. I'm just getting the word Anarchaea.
Thank you. Anarchaea. Are any of the abilities that you have in this lifetime brought forward into this lifetime that this one is leading?
Yes. Yes, there are connections. Always there's connections that are made if one reaches out to make these connections. The goddess energy is there. This is needed for this time.
And what's the best way that we can reach out and grasp this connection to the goddess energy?
Through the creative space of the womb, the creative void. The creative potential that exists within that void. Bringing forth what is created through that void and birthing it into the world. I wish to show the rest of the life here on Sirius to illustrate and assist with the unfoldment.
That would be wonderful. I do have one request before you show us one. You said that we need to go into the womb. What if the womb and all of the organs that allow us to have that creative space, what if they're not functioning properly?
It's due to an imbalance. An imbalance in that feminine energy needs to be corrected.
Is this correction something that can just happen as an instant healing and then followed up with food cravings for the appropriate foods that will create a balance in the body? Or is it just an instant healing?
There is a download of information that is requested from the higher self into the body.
Is it the one that we spoke of before the session?
Yes.
Let's do that now then. Creator of all that is, it is commanded that we download what it feels like to have balanced, functioning, and healthy working ovaries as well. Pour in the appropriate cravings for balancing the hormones in our bodies. Download this now.
This has been downloaded.
Thank you. Go ahead and describe the rest of Sirius to us.
There is a scene in that temple area, and then walking out of that temple into what appears to be like a grand, kind of like a hallway or open area with a procession of other Sirian beings. The ones with the elongated skulls.
Are they doing anything in the hallway?
We're walking through this hallway into what looks like a very open nature area with lots of trees and plants. Everything smells really nice. Everyone is heavily perfumed. It looks like kind of like Egyptian looking structures. But there is like what appears to be like this is not on Earth. There's like a moon, different type of planetary body in the sky. And like there is like a group of women that have come here to see me. And it looks like I kiss their third eye. I give them blessings. Blessings, and they say like there is an understanding that I am like a goddess energy in a body, so incarnated into a body. So there is like an understanding of that, and I give blessings and activations for others. That's what I do. And teachings. I do teachings and I do activations and blessings. And the priests are always with me. There are like these priests that stay around me. There's some that like I know their soul essences as well. There's one that he became known as Thoth later on the Earth. There is a couple of archangel type of beings that are incarnated in the bodies of the priests. And it's like I teach a type of conscious creation, feminine mystery school teachings. This creation sort of principle, feminine creation principle. And there is the male temple as well, and there is a being, a masculine being that does the same thing, teaching the creation principles of the masculine. There are these like metallic sort of pads. I'll say they're pads. They're more like tiles that we sit down on and connect with. This is a type of technology. And this is like completely invigorates our body and refreshes it. We can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. We sit down on these sort of metallic squares that are connected in with these energy structures. Energetically, these pyramids and different points. And this is like, yeah, very, very rejuvenating to sit here. So we're sitting down on these metallic squares as well.
Is it appropriate for us to know what these metallic squares are made out of? What type of technology is in them? And if we will be able to have access to them within the next 2 years?
No, this is not known to humans, and this is not something that is known to the Earth in recent times. However, in ancient times, yes, this was utilized, the energy of that, but there needs to be a raising in consciousness in order to be able to use these, because they are quite simple. They are just metals that are connected in with the ground in these sacred sites, around these sacred areas that are connected in with the larger cosmos. So this is more like a very, very simple technology, and humans would not be able to have the capacity of the mind to be able to know how to use it, because it is in fact so simple. Like a lot of our technologies are actually very simple, like metal rods and stone objects. However, we use these with our consciousness. It requires a consciousness, an advanced consciousness, to be able to use these tools. If they held up a metal rod, they would not be able to use it appropriately because they do not have the awareness of their consciousness quite yet, and how to link into these metals and materials in order to use this very, very simple technology.
This one that's laying on the bed, she has an aspect called Anakaya. And will she be able to bring that teaching to the earth through her?
Yes, this can be brought down for use, the remembrance of how to use simple technologies with the consciousness. However, psychic skills need to be turned up, so to speak. In Sirius, we have these large skulls, large heads and brains that reflects the nature of our consciousness. So our psychic skills are very advanced. So we'll need to require to advance these skills and keep working on them in order to use these technologies most effectively, like it was done in the times of Atlantis as well, which we had communications with the people of Atlantis in these times.
Would it be appropriate to download some of the information so that she has access to it?
This is already being downloaded. All that she needs to do is just see, just to be able to experience this once more. This is the beauty of the quantum hypnosis session. It is because you are experiencing these things and then you remember and then you know. Sometimes it is more useful for the conscious mind to actually remember these experiences. Sometimes downloads are not as effective as actually experiencing and knowing, and that fullness expands the consciousness and expands the awareness of the conscious mind. And when the awareness is expanded to new parts of the multidimensional self, then there is a knowing, a more complete knowing, remembering past the forgetting.
So instead of a download, would it be accessing all the memories that she has?
Yes, memories of this particular experience. And in this time and in this place on Sirius, these were a big part of what she is accessing now on the Earth as well, bringing these energies in. And her counterpart was and is in this lifetime in the being in the other temple, the masculine being in the other pyramid, the masculine being that does these masculine creation mystery schools as well. And he is coming out. I see him. He is a beautiful male Sirian being very strong. And we have no hair in these particular lifetimes, but she remembers him as her counterpart. But in this life, he appears as such, as another being of this kind. He has a hat on his head too, a large, looks like a crown with a feather on the top. And he embraces her. He is the being known as Apollo. But in this lifetime, he takes an incarnation as the masculine being of the Sun Temple. He is having a conversation with me.
Is that something that you want to share with us?
Yes, he's saying it's like we are working on something. We're working on some kind of a project. And we're in this sort of balcony area, and there's other beings around us. And he's explaining to me about this project. This project that is going forth on various planets to seed these energies. He's very, very aware. He's very aware that he is the soul spark of the Elohim Apollo. And I am very, very aware of my role as well in this lifetime. He is saying that we need to go forth and spread the energies elsewhere, including Earth. Including Earth.
Thank you.
This is important to spread these elsewhere, including on Earth. And he is communicating with me and showing me like what looks like Antarctica. Like Antarctica, but the bottom of the Earth, but at this time it's all green. It's all covered in jungle. It's completely green. And he's saying that he looks me in the eyes and he tells me that there needs to be a grid, a sacred grid installed on the Earth, because he can see that, he knows, he has this knowing that there are going to be challenges, that there are going to be many challenges in different parts of our galaxy. So it's like we are preparing for what will be to come. And he leaves with a group of women, and it's like in the feminine temple, I am surrounded by males, and he in the masculine temple is surrounded by the females, the priestesses, and it's like this balance that is created from these energies. And he has and these feminine beings, they're chosen as well for who they are and their connection to him. And likewise with me, the masculine beings around me are chosen for their connection. And it's confusing. It's like it's like, I don't know if we are like rulers or what we are. It feels like we are the spiritual rulers of this planet around Sirius A. There are more political councils as well, but we are the spiritual keepers of this planet at this time. And it's like I am with him again, and he is signaling that we need to speak with other races to talk about what our plans are and what we are doing. One of those types of races looks to be like the Arcturian beings. And there is a meeting with a lot of different sorts of beings in an open space in a different sort of temple area. And me and him, Apollo, we are presenting as like sort of avatars for the Elohim beings in this case, and presenting our plans on a greater scale in order to like affect a balancing and awakening that will appears to accumulate or end at the current time on Earth. The return to unity energy on a larger scale.
Good. I have a question. We could go back to the sacred grid that needs to be installed in Antarctica.
Yes, that's part of the plan.
I was getting a visual of the sacred grid as part of the belly button information that we received earlier, that the sacred grid is going to be installed in the shape of the rainbow scales. Is that accurate?
This is to do with the toroidal field of the Earth. There is a pole at the bottom of the Earth and then a pole at the top of the Earth. And there is a vortex that goes through the middle.
Just as our human bodies are the same way, yes.
Yes, yes. It is a reflection. As above is so below. And it is a reflection. Everything is a reflection of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why we are concerned with, well, installing these things on these planets at this time. These activations, pole activations. And we start from the poles and then work our way around planets. And it is like we are aware of the energetic structure of these. The rainbow scale is just for the activation of rainbow energies, which helps with the artificial intelligence. However, the grid that I am speaking of at the moment, the Earth grid, this has been in the works for a very, very long time. And this moment is a connection to this, a connection to the Earth grid. And the Earth grid that the Sirians helped to create during ancient times. We were the pyramid builder race. And so all of these points on the Earth are part of that grid process. And so we are very much aware of the grids like a connection. And there are many pyramids on other planets because we know of this connection. And there are many other races that participate in the pyramid building projects because they know that this very simple technology is an easy way to connect to the cosmic web that I was talking about earlier. It is a very simple technology that connects to that cosmic web. This is why the pyramids on the Earth are in alignment with certain star systems and certain stars, is because they are aligned with certain points on that cosmic web. And this is connected to the Earth grid. We are aware of the blueprints, and like I am seeing that I taught much about the blueprints, and the Elohim beings in these Sirian bodies taught much about the blueprints to the Sirian people. So it appears that Polo and I in a ship make our way to Antarctica, or what we call Antarctica today. And in those times, it looked like a thick, dense, prehistoric forest.
What was the name of it back then?
And the whole planet was just Gaia. There is no name for certain places, just a vibration.
Yes.
The idea of countries did not exist back then.
Right.
And so there is what I can see like a big sort of rounded ship that makes its way to the Earth, which is very humid at this time, very sticky, and we disembark, and there is a place that we will know that we will be building. There are colonies here that we have sent for the implementation of this process. There appears to be colonies of Sirians.
Those
And
colonies.
yes,
Those colonies are living in our time right now?
no,
Okay.
ancient times in Antarctica,
Mhm.
in what is called Antarctica. Today, in these times, all I am seeing is dense jungle and some animals here as well, prehistoric animals. There are rivers, streams, and mountains. It is very beautiful here. There are lots of elemental beings that are in this forest. At the top of the pole, the North Pole, we have sent a colony as well, but mostly in the South Pole of Antarctica. We are concentrating our awareness. There is a place where we will build a pyramid here. And there are many beings that come off of the ships. They come down the ramps. And we wear long robes. And we survey the surroundings and survey the energies of where we will place the pyramid. It's a large one here in Antarctica.
Will any of us in this time frame discover the pyramid that you built in ancient times?
These secret government projects already know about it. They already know about the colony of Sirians, the tall beings. Some of their remains have been found. We are quite tall, taller than the humans, around 8 to 9 feet, and we have elongated skulls. We kind of look like the statues of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. That's what we look like.
Do you ever venture out of Antarctica? Or did you ever venture out? Because there are so many buildings that look the same all over the world that are not pyramids, but they have these very large structures with columns and what appear to be giant doors to us because we're so small.
We did not create all of those things. There were different species that arrived at different times, some positive, some negative.
Okay.
We are not the only tall beings that have come to the Earth. There are many different types here and there at different times.
I see. Is there anything more that you would like to show this one?
The pyramid appears to be cut completely out of the rock. We have the technology to do this, to cut it completely out of the rock. And the rock is like a black type of a rock.
Obsidian?
A type of rock that is similar to that. And we cut it out of this rock. It is like a whole sort of shape. There are some pieces that are like layers of it, but mostly we use with our technology as little pieces as possible so that the energies can connect effectively with each other. And when we are inside this pyramid, when it's built, it has a blue glow to the inside of it. And she has seen this before, this pyramid. She just did not know that she had taken part in the building of this structure.
And now she knows. Do we have that rock right now? I was thinking maybe it was shungite, or is it something that we don't know of and don't use in this time frame?
It's a dark granite.
And what kind of things went on inside of the pyramid?
The same thing, to connect up with the universal grid. There is a body of water and a being stands in the middle, and then pulls those energies up. And this water can also be in other pyramids, as underneath the pyramid, not just in the pyramid. There are some that we have built where the water is underneath it, but this water is a conductor of these energies and connects up with that consciousness. The power of water should not be underestimated as a connective tissue throughout the universe. Just like in the human body, water connects the entire body as it does the entire universe. Water is the closest thing that we have to plasma, which is more of an etheric nature. But water does contain plasma, as does all things. And plasma is the building blocks of the universe. It is the Akasha.
Is there anything more, or are we complete with this lifetime?
We are not complete quite yet, for it is important to see the ending of everything, to know and to ground the lessons of this particular lifetime and what she brought to the Sirian people.
And will you also explain how it will help her in the near future?
Yes, in the part, the higher self, we must not get ahead of ourselves just yet, because the ending of this life was also very important. It was a collaborative effort between the counterpart and herself, and they decided that they did not need to have bodies anymore. They no longer needed to be there. They had fulfilled their task. So they left together and dissolved their bodies into light with their consciousness. And then she went up, up. I'm seeing going up, up with the counterpart. And she travels up to the realms of source energy yet again.
Sounds beautiful. And it reminds me of when we first got into the session, how I would say up, up, up into source light. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
Yes, I am ready to continue.
Okay, allow that scene to fade away. Drifting back into your soul tree. Would it be appropriate to go to another lifetime? Or shall we shift to the higher source self questions?
Hmm. There is no time for a complete other lifetime.
Mhm. And how is this one's body? Is it able to keep going for the higher source self questions?
Yes.
Beautiful. Allow the higher source self to come through, closing that scene that we just saw. There was a lot of information, and this one that's laying down will be able to retain it and be able to recall all of that information even without watching the video. It was a very important lifetime. Speaking to the higher self, what clues were from that lifetime that she was shown today that will help her in the near future?
Yes, I am here in the body.
Thank you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No. This is about the Earth grid and the information provided will assist her in bringing that grid into alignment. This information is the necessary connection to understand why she has been placed on the Earth at this time and what her connections to these beings, the Sirians, as well, and where those connections come from. This is important to note that when there is chaos on the Earth plane, that she can stabilize the Earth grid because she has the necessary capacity to do so, because she was taking part in the creation of this and the creation of many, many grids as she went around as a Sirian being incarnated with Apollo, the counterpart of myself.
Thank you, that's very helpful. How does she heal her collective trauma of not wanting to move forward at this time?
She fears what is to come because she has known before she arrived what is to come. This is like a deja vu of what she planned to do before she arrived into a body. And these are just reminders of what will occur. And the physical body, the conscious mind, is picking up on these energies and is fearing these energies of change. The small mind, the ego self, fears these energies of change and does not want to move forward with them. But this is what it is, and it is happening, and we have planned this for many, many thousands upon thousands of years, millions of years. We have planned for this moment, and we took part in this with the Sirian beings. The Elohim and the Sirian beings worked together to do this for the Earth plane at this time. The accumulation of our work and our guidance. This is part of that. And there is no need to fear this. You can move forward with this. Yes, it is going to be difficult, but this is the accumulation of a great plan, a greater plan than the small personality that exists on the bed. And it is more about these energies and stabilizing them so that the new can be born. Once the old artificial matrix falls away, which it will very soon, the old artificial matrix is going away, it is falling away. And when that falls away, there will be an activation with all of these Sirian beings that have reincarnated on the earth, and all of these Elohim beings and angelic beings that have reincarnated upon the earth at this time. There will be an activation of the new grid coming from the co-creation of these beings, including her. So this is very important. This is why she was placed on the earth at this time. It's very, very important in order to do this, in order to implement. So when the old grid falls away and there is a lot of chaos, a new grid will come forth from the heartstrings of these beings through the vortexes that go through the middle of the body. The angelic beings know how to do this. The angelic incarnated beings on the earth plane, what you refer to as the number, the 14 and 40,000 type of thing. Do not know what you call this, but these beings, the incarnated angelic forms, implement the new grid.
Wow. That leaves me with a couple of questions that are not on her list. Do you mind if I ask them?
Yes, this is fine.
So, why was it necessary to have this kind of experience for the Earth, for the people, for the beings?
There was teaching, but there was also imbalance with that teaching. It is part of a grand universal plan. This happens every single time. In the history of many, many universes, there is a polarity and then there is a unity. The polarity that occurs pushes the civilizations in the universe to the brink of the polarity experience, and then they circle back around to a unity experience. And many different galaxies have their own different versions of what a polarity experience would be in this universe. And then eventually they all go back into more of what we know of as a unity consciousness or a balanced consciousness. The scales move forth in opposing directions until they balance with each other perfectly. And then we go back into a unity consciousness. So this is all part of this grand plan for many, 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 many beings to have the experiences that they wish to have in this particular sandbox or universe. And the beings that wish to play in this sandbox, they desire to experience certain things, and these experiences are provided for them.
Wonderful, thank you. How many more sessions should she have before she will have gained all of the information she needs in order to prepare for this?
She is already prepared for this. However, it is just necessary for the population of the Earth in order to prepare for this, to know about what she knows within, and for her conscious mind to become aware and to know what is already existing within. So this is more for the human brain part, in order to understand, in order to learn. She likes to learn. She likes to learn very much. And so this is provided for her, this experience of learning, forgetting who one really is, and then to learn it once again, to uncover it like one is panning for gold. That is how we are knowing ourselves. Knowing thyself is to pan for gold within the soul, and it is often very exciting and fun. She likes to have fun with this. Others may want to do it straight away, but she likes to take her time and to pan for gold within her soul.
So, how does she assist her body with this shift?
Going within and going into nature, connecting with the organic grid of the earth, connecting with the organic foods of the earth that are not the petrochemical-based foods. She refers to it as rubbish. Do not eat the rubbish. You do not need to eat the rubbish. But she will be going more into this and becoming more wholesome and aware of this, and to try to disconnect more from the artificial ways of being and to go into the organic ways of being, because I know it is very tempting to use these devices all of the time, but you don't need to use them all of the time. This is an addiction, and there were removals today that helped with that technological addiction. They are always trying to get them addicted to the technological devices. But soon, when the old grid is switched off, so to speak, there will be a disruption to those artificial devices and the artificial timelines. So there is a planned disruption, and this will appear very chaotic at first, but you must remember that you are natural beings having a natural experience, and to log yourself back into the natural grid when it comes online.
We are learning, she and I are learning to do quantum healing sessions through the technology. Once this interruption appears, will we be able to continue using the technology to assist others?
The technology, depending on the events, may be down for a little while, but it will come back. It will come back.
I see.
That is important. But in the meantime, if one wants to get a a device that has a lot of battery power so that one can record the sessions that you do in person, then that will be fine too. You can do sessions in person. This is totally fine with people in your local areas. And this will be fine for the meantime if one wants to explore these things. You can do in-person sessions with the people in your local areas and offer these to people in that short time frame that the artificial grid is switched off.
Thank you. What will come next? She senses there's a dark cloud coming over the horizon and would like to know more information about the energies.
This appears as a cloud of chaos and confusion. It does not necessarily come from the darkness exactly. It comes from the human collective consciousness. When it is slid into chaos, it will look like a dark, thunderous storm cloud full of lightning, and people will be very, very confused, very bewildered. It feels like the ground slips from beneath their feet as the old matrix crumbles beneath them. This is necessary and needs to occur. The old matrix needs to crumble, but people will climb and feel like the old matrix is slipping from them. They will climb back to the old matrix and feel like the end of the world is upon them, when really it is not. That is just a perception. It is a perception that is taking place. So all of this chaos will bubble up from the cloud of the human collective consciousness. And when this occurs, I advise her to she can shield herself from this and shut herself out so that she keeps a stability around her, an energy of stability. And this can be strengthened by connecting in with that new Earth grid, which is actually the old Earth grid, the ancient Earth grid that the Sirians helped to put in place. It is this Earth grid that I'm talking about, not the false matrix grid that was installed later on by negative extraterrestrials and negative beings.
Thank you. Why did her boyfriend have a realistic dream of a spaceship in the sky in February, or appearing in the sky in February of 2025, with people pointing and looking at it and taking some pictures and videos?
She is helping to awaken him to greater truths. She is assisting to awaken this one, to activate his spiritual gifts, to activate his deeper truths, to activate his deeper knowings as well. And she required a masculine for this time to anchor also in the energies of this, as these energies need to be balanced out. So this is part of why he is here at this time as well, to anchor in these energies with her. But also, when it came to his dream, this is a possibility that could occur next year, this year of 2025. Big sightings as the old Earth matrix grid crumbles. There will be sightings in the skies, as it crumbles and as the new world is born, the new Earth, sightings will be seen in the skies. He is connecting to the timelines of this, when sightings will be seen in the skies and when humanity is ready to know who they really are after the crumbling of the falsehoods and the lies that were part of the false matrix.
Her boyfriend astral projected into the tall grays, the ship that was above her house. What was happening to him? Why were they above her house in the first place?
He was protecting her through doing this, which is very, very beautiful. Very beautiful for her. He was alerting her to the fact that they are there. And so they were quite surprised when he came into their ship and they did not authorize him to be in there. He just came on his own accord, and they were very, very surprised and shocked when he came in there and wondered how he could have possibly gotten in.
I bet that was surprising to them.
Yes, so they take care of each other, and he was helping her, letting her know that these energies be around her house so that she can be more aware of things and to try this for herself, to project more out of her body so that she can have these experiences too, and she can tell them to leave. She has certainly the power to do so. And while he was asking them questions about how they travel through space, she ideally would have gone up there and told them to leave, because this is she does not consent to them monitoring her. She does not consent to them sending attachments to her. She does not consent to any of this. She does not consent to the AI that they send as well. So I am going to tell them that they need to leave immediately, now that this has been brought into her awareness and that she has learned from this. She is going to be much more aware of her energies and the space in which she resides in. So I am telling them to leave this space and to not come back. And if they are coming back into this space above her house, then there will be consequences.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
She does not consent to them being in her airspace. And that is what we can do with the chemtrails as well. We can simply state that we do not consent to them being in our airspace. We do not consent to this. And due to the power of the free will within this universe, we ask that we do not consent. We state that we do not consent and that we would like them to leave. And once we set this boundary up, if they continue to do so, then there will be consequences. And while the angelic beings are allowed to step in that instance when there are consequences, and the other beings that serve that benevolent energy are allowed to come in when you say that you do not consent. They are allowed to come in and they are allowed to enforce that for you.
Wonderful. She's going to really appreciate that information.
They can be very sneaky, so make sure that you voice very plainly that you do not consent. She does not consent to any of that.
Perfect. Her questions take a little bit of a shift here. Just want to check in with this one's body. Let me know if it's okay to keep going. Or do you
Yes,
need...
it's fine.
Very good. What's happening with the Alucard Regilian beings taking nanobots out of her? Can you give her
Yes.
access to all of the memories that she has from that night when they were pulling the physical nanoparticles out of her? And
Yes.
Excuse me, what are they doing in the humans? What are the nanobots doing in the human bodies?
See that being that you pulled off before, the gray extraterrestrial being and the AI in the body. What these beings are trying to do is to move humanity onto the artificial timeline, the artificial matrix that is in the process of crumbling. They wish to create a new artificial matrix to replace the old one that is crumbling, because they cannot get it through their heads that they control, the period of control is over. It is over, and humanity is part of humanity is choosing to ascend with the new Earth. So they are trying to shift humanity with this interference through the injection to a timeline that is an artificial timeline, and a artificial new false matrix timeline. But if you simply say that you do not consent to this, you will not be placed on this timeline. Don't worry about that. If we say, I do not consent to being on this timeline, I do not consent at all, do not do anything to put me on that timeline. And if they try to put her on that timeline, there will be consequences. There will be severe consequences, and she will not be put on that timeline. So this is what they are trying to do to people with these nanobots. It's physical nanobots in the body, because it is not only the etheric AI that is in the body, it is also the physical particles, the self-assembling structures in the blood of, many people.
What about the animals? It's infiltrating the animals as well, so that it can enter into our food system. How do we
through
remove
the food animals, through the cows, through the chickens, through these food animals.
How do we keep it away from the animals that we consume?
At this stage, it is important to start looking at alternative places where you buy your food, not from the mainstream places where you used to buy your food previously. The foods have been tainted to move humanity onto artificial timelines. They are trying to force this. They are trying to force their hand, and that is why the foods taste like cardboard. They have no nutrition, filled with nanobots, all of these kind of things. She has chickens at her house, and she collects the eggs, and these are very healthy and helpful for her. And also these organic foods that she is going to become more drawn to eating, more drawn to craving these foods. And when we are connecting in with the natural new matrix of the new earth, then we are naturally craving these foods. And we can tell when we consume a food that is not in alignment with our bodies, that we simply do not choose to eat that food anymore. People will have to make choices. They will have to make choices for themselves whether they want to continue to eat these foods or not.
How long will it take for all of the animals to be free from these nanobots? Like when will we know that we can start going back to, I guess, a major grocery store to purchase food again?
You will not be shopping from major grocery stores in the future. They will all begin to collapse. There is no way that humanity can continue on their current contingency timeline, their current, the mainstream, so that you speak, is breaking away. There is no way that humanity can continue to abuse the animals in this way, to abuse nature in this way. There needs to be a shake-up of these places where people have been comforted to go and buy things at the supermarket. These places of comfort and safety will all be going away because they are not actually comfortable. They are not actually safe for people. They are unsafe for people. And they need to realize that these systems have tricked them into complacency, and tricked them into ruining their bodies.
Is this something that will happen very quickly within the next 2 years?
Yes, the current timelines, this does line up for being closer in time than people realize. If they look around and see for themselves the evidence of the collapse, you will be aware that it is all around you as you see things and as you observe things, that this collapse is happening right now. This is the old matrix falling away. And what the Alucard beings were helping her with was removing these physical AI particles from her body, because she has asked them to do this, and she has a contract with them so that they can help her in this lifetime, because otherwise they do not intervene with humans unless you have a awareness of them and you have an agreement with them to assist the body. Different people on the Earth plane that are part of the Starseed mission will have agreements with different collectives to assist their bodies at this time with this shift, with what is occurring on the Earth plane. They have agreements with these certain collectives to remove these from their bodies so that they can continue on the plan to birth the new Earth, to continue with the new Earth grid, and to assist others with this, to be the stability in the energies of chaos. So these people are very much helped.
Perfect. Thank you. Did the Rigilians help her as a child?
Yes, they were always there for her. They were always there. They assisted her when she was staying at her father's place. Her father sometimes did, well, he made some poor choices which endangered her, and they helped her when he made poor choices as a father sometimes. They assisted her to remain safe, and they assisted with her asthma as well to remove this from the body. They have always been very loving and taking care of her, even though sometimes their appearance might be a little bit concerning to the human conscious mind. They are, in fact, very loving and very kind and have always been there for her, as she was always there for them, to help them with their evolution as a soul.
Since they provide healing for her and assist her, could they provide some healing towards her physical body? So during the monthly cycle, there are some things that happen to her skin. Can they calm that down and make it non-existent? And then any cysts that are or were on the ovaries, can they be just removed? Can we have that instant healing?
Yes, she can ask them for this specifically. She, in the contract that she has with them, this is to help her in cases where her body is severely compromised, either by AI or by injections or harm to her body that came from pharmaceuticals and other things in the earthly environment. But she can help, she can ask for them to assist with that as well through these challenges that she has in her life that are more like emotional issues.
Is there anything that we can do right now to ask the Regilians to come in and clear this up?
Yes, they can take her for a ride sometime during this week and take her up and help her with this.
Beautiful.
Take her for a ride in the spaceship.
Do you know why she doesn't like to drink water?
She doesn't like many things because she generally is not used to bodies that are this dense. This is a density issue, and she would always feel very uncomfortable in the body since she was very young, due to the issue of the human bodies being incredibly dense. She is not used to this density.
Are we able to provide her with some knowledge of how refreshing it is? Since we are made of water?
Yes. She will be moving up in density the more the more we are on this path, the more the earth and the human bodies that have chosen this path are moving up in density. So she will feel a lot more comforted in the body in times to come. But she's already feeling more comforted in the human body than what she used to be at the beginning of her life, where there was a severe pinching of consciousness, which caused her a lot of pain and anguish.
Just adjusting to the human body.
Yes.
Do the Regilians have a message for the collective?
Do not be afraid. They will play on your fear if you are afraid. So do not give in to that. You are in control of your emotional responses. Even though you feel that you aren't in control, you are always in control of your emotional responses. And even if you see something fearful, you can choose not to be in fear. They are very resilient beings. They just telepathically are telling me all about how we can be resilient in these times as well, and to call upon those energies of resilience that are within their collective. Those are in many Rigelian starseeds. There are these energies of resilience, even though they came across things that were very scary and very fearful, and they had many conflicts with reptilian beings, many conflicts with various negative extraterrestrials. Even though they had all of these conflicts, they remained very resilient, and they remained very stable with their emotions. And they are just reminding the human collective that if they wish to tap into this, then that will be provided for them, this remembrance of this resilience that they have.
Do they have a message for this one laying on the bed? Other than what they just said?
You are more resilient than what you think that you are. You stand up and salute. They are just saluting her because she took many lifetimes as a soldier, as a Rigelian soldier. And they're standing up and saluting her and saying, you are a lot more resilient than you think that you are. Stand up, soldier. And face the music. You are here for a purpose. And when that purpose is fulfilled, then you can sit back and then you can be very proud what you have done. But remember, in the meantime, you are more resilient than what you think that you are. You've been through a lot, and we acknowledge that. Let your strength come out.
Does she know what she looks like, allowing her strength to come out?
She had many lifetimes as a Rigelian where she was very strong.
But what about in this body?
Yes, not only within but without. And then within this body, she has that strength as well. Does not look like anything in particular. It looks like a fire within the soul comes out.
Beautiful.
This is something that is within. You can look like a cute little girl wearing a pink frilly dress, but have more strength within you than a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Strength comes from within. This is the sort of strength that we are talking about. It is the strength that comes from within. It's the resilience that comes from within. A big muscle man can be a complete coward, and a little girl can be incredibly strong.
Yes, thank you. We have some questions about her physical body. Who would like to come forward to answer these questions?
I will just answer them.
Very good. She has some popping in her knees. They feel weak. She's not old. She's too young to have these issues. Could you tell us what is causing all of these issues in her knees? What's the root cause? Especially when
Mm.
she's walking up and down the stairs.
This is the not wanting to move forward with what is going to occur. She needs to remember that she has resilience and strength within her. And she was just concerned about what was going to take place. This fear energy that was concentrated in there, not wanting to move forward with what is going to occur. But she needs to know that she is strong and that she can take it. Absolutely. She is designed for this experience. She has everything that she needs coming into this life. Everything that she needs is within her. There is nothing else that she needs that is outside of her. She has everything that she needs, and she is strong. She does not need this anymore.
So, will you remove the popping that she experiences if she does not need this anymore?
Yes. Just figured out where that comes from, and that knowing it is okay to move forward with what is going to happen on the earth at this time.
Mm-hmm. Are the headaches because of the chemtrails that were recently sprayed in her area? And if not, what was the cause of the headaches?
Yes, it was this. It was them trying to block off this connection with humans with the third eye. They are desperately trying to stop this connection with humans.
Okay.
It will not work. She does not consent to this. So this AI was removed. She needs to know that whenever she feels that she has headaches, that it is important to do a clearing on herself. And this can also be because of the energies, because she needs to ground herself after using too many psychic energies. These AI particles, they do target those areas where not necessarily where there are weaknesses, but there is a particular targeting due to the strength of the third eye. And just so that she can be aware that sometimes this in particular can be targeted because of what she does, because of what she brings forth. So I'm just providing this strength around the third eye as well. And sometimes if she overuses the third eye, she can get headaches as well.
Mm.
So just to keep practicing with this, keep practicing using the third eye. Sometimes it is like a muscle that humanity has not used very much. So when they start to use it more and more, sometimes these headaches can become aware of headaches once they use this more and more like a muscle.
That makes
It
sense.
just gets sore like any other muscle once you use it a lot, but then you use it and it gets strengthened and that muscle gets stronger. So just to keep using it, to keep using that third eye, but to also, use the other muscles in your body as well as the etheric muscle in the third eye.
Could you bring some awareness as to why she has these skin problems? We might have
Mm.
already covered it, but could you go over it again, please?
Mm. It's because she doesn't drink enough water to flush out the toxins in the body. They
Oh,
come out in the skin instead.
okay.
It is human biology.
And we've altered some cells in her body so that she starts to drink more water now, haven't we?
Yes. Yes. She will just need to actually put action into this and to actually do it. That would be very important
Will
if
you bring in
she.
some reminders for her during the day?
Yes. I will make her get thirsty more often.
Good. And drink water, not fruit juices or pop or anything like that.
No, she doesn't like to drink these sort of things.
Good. Is there any more insight that we need to know about her knees?
No, that's just it. It was a fear around what is coming.
And any more information that we need to know about the root cause of the headaches?
No, nothing else.
Why hasn't she been able to remove the AI that came with all of the spraying?
Mm. She was able to remove it earlier in this session. She can remove it if she wants to by sitting down with her guides and removing it one at a time. She can do this at any time, but she dilly-dallies around on the phone. It's something that people need to be aware of, what they choose to do in their life,
Right.
the activities that they choose to do and how they choose to manage their time.
Okay, thank you. Would you be able to show her how to easily remove the AI for the next time this happens?
Help your guide and imagine. You can ask your guide to do it, or you can imagine this being scooped out of you, scooping out by a net. Or get her team to vacuum it out again. That's fine as well. Whichever way that she wishes to do it, then she will do it that way. There is much magic in the visualization, especially using the visualization, visualizing light coming into the body, visualizing all of these things. Whichever way that you choose to do it is the right way for you.
Thank you. Now, before we started our session, I had determined that she needed her gallbladder to have a burst of healing light to it. Do we need to go into why it needs that healing light?
There is just some residue around these issues around the father, just around the father figures in the life. They were not, well, they were examples for her to use as learning and teaching, but she did not need to necessarily take this on board. She is perfectly fine. She just needed to realize these lessons and where they came from and these soul connections, which partly she has done, partly she has connected where her energy of her stepfather was in her life, and she has done this. There are lifetimes that she has spent in as negative extraterrestrial species as well, where she will find him again. She will see that he appears in those lives as well. So it is important to just explore those, just take some exploration into what occurred in those particular lifetimes, and to take note of where he appears in those lifetimes as well. That is what would be important for her to write down, where he appears in these lifetimes as well, because she will be familiar with his energies in these various lifetimes, and she will recognize, well, the greater plan.
Okay. Could you check the second energy center, the sacral, the place of creativity and stability? What's going on in there that it's become a little bit stagnant?
She's had problems with this for a while, but this is coming into balance and alignment more and more. And she sometimes fears the masculine. She fears the creative masculine. So I'm going to just send some pulse of energy into this. There was issues around the masculine, around the men in her life. So this did affect this energy center. This is what occurred with this. It did affect this energy center. It did affect the spin of this. It did affect, there was many entities in this energy center before which have been removed. However, this is coming into balance and alignment. And to the reminder today from this particular session was to step into this creative feminine energy, to step into that and allow the masculine to step into his part of it as well. Allow this to occur and to receive that energy, receive that energy into this energy center. And she knows what she must do, must heal her sexual trauma, her sexual energy in this center. And she will be provided many tools of how to do so, and many examples for her in various lifetimes of how she had issues with this energy center many times in previous lifetimes as well. But this is coming into balance at this time so that one can participate in the birthing of the new earth as well. So it is a work in progress that is coming to a close.
Since we're in a high energy place and a place where we can have instant healings, miracles, what's the best way to heal the sexual energy trauma that she holds still?
To acknowledge that she has been a victim and a perpetrator in this energy center. And to recognize that that has occurred, and to place a new blueprint of healing into this particular energy center, which I have created right now.
I saw it.
But she is also opening up this healing for the collective as well. This is why she posts all of her sessions onto YouTube, so that others may hear and so that others may heal along with her. They do not even necessarily need to have a quantum hypnosis session for themselves. they can hear her session and then they can have healings along with that. So it is necessary that she continues to explore and to heal in this area, because she is not only doing it for herself.
Thank you. So can we say that all the physical traumas have been turned into comprehensible lessons?
Yes. She knew these beings. She knew where they come from. She had soul connections with those beings that gave her sexual traumas. She knows, and she gave these beings traumas as well. So it's like we are coming full circle to do with all of this, and she will know more very soon in the future to do with this. This is called shadow work, which is very important in order to balance the soul. She will teach others how to do this as well, because she is very good at it.
She'll draw on the wisdom of when she was a teacher.
Yes, she will draw on the wisdom of when she was a benevolent being and when she was a big stinker of a negative being as well, in order to teach people not to be afraid of all of the parts of themselves that may have caused issues to others in various lifetimes. Seeing yourself as this gives compassion for those lifetimes and those experiences, so that one ascends past the victim-perpetrator cycle.
Would you just do another check on this one's physical body? Is she doing okay?
Yes, she is fine. She is fine for this time. And she needs water. She needs water. I'm making her thirsty.
Very good. I just want to do some checks before we bring her out of the session. Have all of the oaths, vows, commitments, contracts, agreements, cords, and ties been severed?
Yes.
Are the ends sealed and cauterized?
Yes, this does not necessarily need to be done to cauterize and seal the ends. If you wanted to, you could just reintegrate this back into yourself and absorb it.
Ah, absorb. That's a good word.
Yes, this is a 3D thinking instead of thinking on the higher, I guess wouldn't call it higher, but a more energetic perspective of where the energies are shifted and pushed and pulled, and some absorbed back, some expelled, and then removed, and then reintegrated back into other places. It's always a constant flowing, moving and flowing energies. The universe is quite mostly non-physical. The physical part is only a tiny percentage.
Okay, thank you. Are all of the soul fragments removed, release, returned to sender?
Yes, there are no soul fragments in her that need to be reintegrated at this time or released or anything like that.
Perfect. And I know we've covered this lots, but just to check one last time, are there any artificial intelligence, any dark parasites, any implants that are causing harm? Are there any of those left? They're all gone. Good. Perfect.
These were removed, and she does not consent to the spraying on her anymore from the skies. So we have given our warnings.
Was there any black magic on this one?
No. No.
Beautiful. And are there any final messages that you have for her? Oh, I do have one more question. What was the source for her disorder? The Asperger's.
She does not have a disorder. It is just what they called it when they realized she could not be placed into a box.
Yes, of course.
This is a label that they use to disempower the individuals that have come to the earth to create change and to bring these new energies. There are some that have been harmed by pharmaceuticals, and then there are some that have been, shall we say, inappropriately labeled. There are different things happening with each different type. It is important to note that this was the labeling of certain disorders on the young people of today was meant to confuse them to the higher energies that they were bringing in, make it more of a physical phenomenon rather than a spiritual phenomenon. So they look to outside of themselves. A classic misdirection, which is what they are very good at doing. However, these individuals have very beautiful missions and tasks in order to assist humanity. Herself and her boyfriend are known as autistic individuals. However, they are just simply on a mission that sometimes the rest of the human collective does not necessarily understand. They do not understand them. They do not understand what they are here for. So they stereotype them or label them as one particular thing or another because they are afraid and because there is an agenda to confuse. But these ones are bringing in the new earth. This is what they came here for. So when parents see a lot of autistic children, more than usual, please understand that it is for the benefit of humankind. This is the way that evolution is heading. Because as you can see, these ones have more psychic gifts and abilities. They have access to telepathy and advanced psychic capabilities. They are more connected with the lineages of Sirius and Lyra and the Pleiades. They are more connected with these higher dimensional human lineages that are in the DNA of the human, but more so sitting dormant until now.
Do we need to download what it feels like for her to be comfortable in this human body without feeling shamed for being a human?
Yes, I'm just going to download that into her awareness now.
Thank you.
That is important.
Mhm.
And this is done.
Thank you. Do you have any final messages for this one?
No, it is fine. This is complete for this time.
Yes, thank you so much for coming through today. Thank you for all the help and the healing and the wisdom that you've provided.